Vamos então prosseguir neste momento para nos falar da jornada de transformação de suporte Microsoft com a inteligência artificial, chama Avanade World Tour, AI Lead Microsoft de Portugal. Pode ser, bem-vinda. Muito obrigada. Esta então, segura os Porquê? Porque eu não quero ficar aqui por enquanto entre vocês que almoçam e foi aqui de tradução entre as línguas de minha cabeça, mas é portunhol, não é português, portanto, vou ficar por inglês, ok? Pode ser que no próximo eu tenho isso. Pronto. Today I'm here to take you on a journey. And that journey is the AI transformation journey that we have right now undergoing in the customer support organization at Microsoft. Now, let me tell you a little bit about why this matters. It matters because the scale of Microsoft support is monstrous, if not the largest, one of the largest support organizations in the world. We are talking changing the day-to-day of 35,000 support engineers. And I'm going to use the word engineers, not agents. Because nowadays, agents are starting to be used in different contexts, and it gets confusing. So we are talking over 35,000 support engineers that are providing support to all the stack of Microsoft products. And I know it's little, here at the bottom of this slide, but that goes from the shop around the corner to the biggest organizations in the world, some that we cannot afford having any downtime. We support customers in 195 countries. Why is that relevant? Because with AI, we are opening a whole new world of AI translation capabilities, for example. And we are talking a volume of 7 million commercial cases and thousands and hundreds and millions of consumer cases. Think Xbox. That is, a very large customer segment that we have. Now, this journey started several years ago. This is not happening overnight, and by no means we are at the end destination. I'm here today to tell you where we are. There are still, many chapters to be written in this journey. But this digital transformation started back in 2019. Imagine, just 7 years ago, we had an extremely complex ecosystem. We had 16 different case management systems. That was making, pretty complex, almost impossible for some technologies to collaborate with each other. You can imagine that nowadays the intersection in between our products and technology, it's getting more and more convoluted. What might look like a Teams issue can end up being a security one. And we need those teams to work seamlessly. In 2019, they could not even transfer one case from the Teams team into the security one because the systems were different. Those systems were not talking to each other. They had 500 different tools for customer care. And it was definitely, far from ideal. So that is a little bit what has been already shared today, that this journey takes, many cycles. For us, it started at that time. 2020 brings the solution. We unify all these systems and tools into our very own Dynamics 365. And a whole new world of possibilities opens. And at a very timely point in time, because in 2021, pandemic hits really hard, and we need to send all our support engineers home. And they need to keep providing support at the time that our customers needed that the most. We could not afford saying there is no support from now on. Everybody was going back, into their homes. They needed to keep working. That time we were able, because we were on that platform already, we could enable Teams collaboration. And that, again, was a significant milestone for us as an organization. 2022 is when the first chatbots, AI, not that we know it today, the first chatbots, the Power Virtual Agents were already integrated in some of our solutions. But then When we really crossed the chasm as we know it, that was 2023. And that is the moment when in 4 months, the 35,000 engineers that you saw in the previous slide got Copilot integrated in Dynamics. And from there, a whole new world of opportunities open. Now, let me be very clear. Did we get it right from the go-gate? No. We jumped into many assumptions. We thought we are going to give them Copilot. They are just going to jump, and they are engineers, right? They have the skills. When Enrique this morning was mentioning skill sets, and Andres has mentioned that as well. You need to be intentional on growing those skills. But at that time, we took some things for granted, and we have learned. That is also part of what we are now being more and more intentional ever since. 2025 onwards, that's when we are starting, to deploy semi and fully autonomous AI agents. In fact, I have a small video that will show you how they look like in real life. Now, when we started this AI transformation, we did it with 3 key principles in mind. Number 1, trying to leverage all these AI capabilities to reduce the toil that our employees, that our people that are providing support need to go through day in, day out. What does that mean? There are a lot of tasks that are very repetitive, that take a lot of time from them to really invest in the high value activities that really bring them closer to the customers, the ones that really add value to the customers. So there are a lot of, opening cases, closing cases, updating cases, summarizing cases. All those things AI is really good at. Now, if we can remove all of those from their plate, they can really focus on those high-value ones. And that is number 1 of those key principles. The second one, discoverability of knowledge. Have been also talking this morning the importance of knowledge in the world of AI. Well, we needed as well to streamline the access to that knowledge. It's not only about curating, but how do we make sure that our engineers get to the response or the insight that they need the faster possible? Because when you are providing support, the faster that you provide a solution to the customer, the better position we are going to be to have a satisfied customer. The third one was reducing time to expertise for our customers to really be connected to the support engineer that was the one that they needed. One of the biggest dissatisfaction drivers that we know is when customers need to move from one person to another, and they need to repeat what their problem is, and the delay that implies, and this frustration of they don't understand what I mean. They are just moving me around. Well, with AI, we are capable, and I will show you how, I will explain, how do we make sure that the first person that connects with you from a support perspective has the right expertise and has understood the problem that you have. And last but certainly not the least, we are now in a position as well to reduce case volume, the so-called concept of case deflection. How can we prevent those cases from being open? Why? Because we are proactively sharing with the customer what the solution is. So there is a lot of self-help capabilities that now we are able to expose to our customers, because we know that having to go through the entire process of opening a case takes time. If we already have the information that they need so that they can solve the problem themselves, there's also a faster way for them to have the solution they need. This is a graphical representation of how we are applying AI in every step of the way in the case life cycle. I'll take a moment to look at this because it has an infinite loop shape, and that is in purpose. Okay, this is not the marketing only slide, but it's a way to represent that now with AI, every single case is a learning. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take you from where it says the customer journey begins. And it begins with that determining intent. I think this word has already been mentioned today. When a customer connects with us because they have an issue, they have something that they need support with, we really need to understand what is their intent. The better that we understand what is the issue at hand, what are the things that have already been tried, all the different attributes about what is that really setting of what you based on current but also past experiences. This might be already the second time that you're having a problem, and we don't want you to go through what you went through the first time. There are attributes as well around where you are based, where are your working hours, where are your preferences from a language perspective, even what is your historical data with us. There could be, certain ways that you have expressed in the past that you like to communicate, or people that you have been working with that can bring that knowing factor on, I already know you, I've worked with you before, so I'm going to try, to really have all that information at hand. Because again, better we can understand the problem, the faster we are going to get to the resolution. At that time, when we gather all that information, and that is mostly transformation that we are doing in our portals. So if you're opening cases today or tickets with Microsoft, there are different portals depending on the product that you have. We are unifying all that, and we are changing for the better the Copilot experience that you have in those portals. And that is going to be, where that determining intent happens. Not only there, because there are information telemetry that we can pull from your tenant. There are insights that we have from your past experiences. So all of that enriches the information that you have about your intent. The first step is always going to be, can we provide you some self-guided resolution? It connects with what I just mentioned to you. If at that point we already know that what you are going through, there is a public document or some steps that we can share with you to resolve it, that will already be in here so that you can try that before having to go through the process of opening the case. If that is not the case, then we will go into the troubleshooting steps and the case will be open. At that time, an intelligent assignment agent comes into play. Because again, we want to make sure that you are getting assigned to the right expertise that is needed for that intent that we have discovered. Okay, that the person with the right skills, with that location, maybe that language that you need, is the one that gets assigned to your case. It would also be in here that AI is coming to the rescue, because we already have fully autonomous agents that are solving cases. So if you are going through that experience, know that that is already one of the things that we have live in production. Okay, that it could be that you're working with Monday, you're working with a self-identified AI agent that is solving fully autonomously your case. But let's imagine that at this point in time, you're interacting with one of our engineers. From that moment onwards, we go into that assistance part of the infinite loop. And that is, touching that key principle that I mentioned to you, reducing the toil for our engineers, making sure that we are streamlining access to knowledge, making sure that they have all the means at hand to really provide you in the faster possible manner a solution to your issue. So we go with agents that are now automating the case opening. Why is this important? Because you might have already had interactions in here, either with any of our in the portals, maybe with AI, because we tried first with AI. We don't want to lose any of that information. Maybe you started in a chat modality, and now you are transferring to another modality. None of that information should ever get lost, because it touches back with you feel that you are starting over, and that is not a good experience. So we make sure that all the information is contained in here. There are already diagnostics that, based on that information, are going to be triggered on the back end. Those results are going to be presented to the engineer. There will be as well, assistance throughout the case. The human is already in charge of the situation, but we are feeding information because there are insights based on how the communication is evolving that can really make the difference towards that resolution. And then comes this moment where the infinite loop closes again, which is the piece where we learn. We connect what your intent was with the resolution that has been provided once you confirm that it has solved your issue. So we are always learning. We update our database. So the next time the same intent comes through, we don't need to go through all the cycles because we already know what was the solution, and we will have different things that we can try to get you to that solution. So as you can see, again, it's a never-ending learning experience with automation, with assistance, but always with the goal of having an AI-driven experience that makes you get what you need in the best way possible. These are some of those autonomous agents that I mentioned to you, because in that infinite loop, it is really a combination of different AI solutions, and many of those are autonomous agents. I think that will make it, more marketing and nicer. But as you can see, it goes from that customer intent agent that it's always learning about your intent, and as you can see, it's always going to be mining from past and current customer conversations, emails, communications that are happening. It's also about that customer knowledge management agent that it's looking at what is the knowledge available. It's going to be able to identify if there were gaps in the documentation that we couldn't really find. Now, why is this important? I think, if any, this is one of my favorites, because when we started this transformation, the whole paradigm of knowledge was a huge intake. We had at that time in the support organization, we chose the top 5 databases that we had in the world of support. And you can imagine some of those, you have access to those, they are public, learn.microsoft.com, support.microsoft.com, then also, some other internal widgets. At that time, that represented 1.1 million of documents that needed to be reviewed. 1.1 million. Just, as a starting point, just the top 5 databases. It was a Herculean effort because we needed to review relevance. There were a lot of documents that were obsolete because newer versions had already been published. Broken links, many broken links. At that point, when that document was created, that was probably somewhere, but that was not anymore the place to go. We needed to review from a responsible AI standpoint. There were, some wording that needed to be grounded. Otherwise, it would be very easy for any of those models to hallucinate. And we needed to make sure that those were grounded. And I can give you examples in the world of security, for example, with blacklist and whitelist, that can have some connotations if you don't ground the model and what it means to use that terminology, or the master and slave concept in computing. Things like this that we needed to make sure that they were reviewed. There were as well, we needed to clean it from any PII. We cannot afford putting any PII in these models. Sometimes, there could be a screenshot in a troubleshooting guide that had an IP address that had to be removed. And even at that time, models were not able to read images, and we had a lot of screenshots. First we do this, then we do this. So we had to translate all of that into words. At that time, from 1.1 million, we went down to 400,000. Those were the ones that were finally ingested in the initial model that we use. But we're going to do that on a monthly basis. And technology is going speedland. You have seen the graph from Andres. So now we're using AI to keep that, on a super regular and daily basis. That is helping us to update and make sure that we generate new content. There are still humans in the loop. You will see that nothing gets published if it's not reviewed by a human. But the concept of knowledge continues to be the new gold, as we call it. That is one of the agents that is helping us to keep that information current. then we have case management agents. So you can see, some of those tasks that I was mentioning to you, they are very administrative. That's not really, where our engineers, their expertise, it's the best possible too. So there are a lot of different things that we can, remove from them and expedite that handling time. And then the last one, the quality evaluation agent is also a very, very good one, because it takes a lot of pride for us to say that this that is now in public reviewing dynamics was created here in Portugal in a hackathon from the support organization, and it made it all the way to get it integrated into the product. Because I didn't mention at the very beginning, but the support organization of Microsoft is customer zero for everything that Dynamics 365 and Copilot are doing together. Okay, so we are the guinea pigs, but we are also, creating a lot of meaningful integrations in the product, and quality evaluation agent is one of those. This has been a game changer because before, case reviews are part of our operations. There are many cases where you have senior engineers that go and check how is that case, progressing. Is there any flag, that the customer is dissatisfied? Is this getting, very, very slow? We went from most probably being able only on a human basis to review 1-2% of the cases on a daily basis to having 100% of the cases reviewed, because with AI, we can run it. There is, a score that is activated. So the human reviewers only need to focus on those that have been flagged as being at risk. Okay, and then suddenly you're just not hoping that everything goes fine, because you cannot go and check on all the cases. You prevent escalations. You get as well, actionable insights, and there is as well, different views that allow you to have educated decisions around gaps. Okay, there could be a recurring issue around communications in a given team, or in a given individual, or in a given delivery partner, and this will help you, because all the cases are reviewed. So you have, the richest possible sample to make those decisions. Now, 3 of these are already available in Dynamics, and 1 is in public review, as mentioned. I have a video. It's a marketing video. Okay, it's not one of our engineers using those, but it gives you an idea of how these agents are connecting together and making definitely a very different experience.
Copilot agents can help contact centers improve customer experiences, drive efficiency, and reduce costs. Let's see how the customer intent and customer knowledge management agents work in tandem to enable evergreen customer self-service and assisted service. I'm a senior service rep, and I've just received an escalation for an issue that wasn't on our radar. As I work, the customer intent agent is continuously learning from me how to identify and resolve this and other complex customer issues as they arise. It discovers new intents from customer conversations across all channels by analyzing case notes, transcripts, and summaries, mapping issues to corresponding resolutions that the agent maintains in a library. In parallel, the customer knowledge management agent ensures knowledge articles are kept perpetually current, automatically identifying opportunities to update existing articles or draft new ones based on the discovered insights. The agent autonomously drafts and publishes the content. And since I have oversight, all I have to do is approve the update. Now, the next time the customer reaches out, our self-service tools like chatbots and IVRs are ready, dynamically armed with the latest intents and knowledge content. No manual updates required, which means fewer escalations for me. And when I need help diagnosing a customer issue, Copilot is here for me too, proactively surfacing prompts fueled by the customer intent agent and providing me with the latest guidance harnessed by the customer knowledge management agent.
Microsoft.
This is just to give you an idea of how these agents are now interacting. This is the last slide that I have for you, and it's the one that shows what are already the results that we are seeing after implementing these experiences. These are 2025 end of year results, and as you can see, they are in three different buckets. What are we seeing internally after these integrations have happened with Copilot? Well, there is definitely 12 to 16% reduction in the average handling time. That helps, what we mentioned before. When we are able, to remove all those tasks, the engineers are more focusing on driving resolution, and they have a streamlined access to that information that results, into us being able to provide those solutions faster. There is as well an increase in productivity. What you can see in there, that 9 to 12% is a productivity metric. We see that our engineers are able to be engaged in 9 to 12% more cases than they were before. And the last one, not to be, underestimated, is one of the concepts that I mentioned initially, the need, for cross-team collaboration, or the need for more junior engineers to have to engage a more senior one for help. All of those are delays. Those are either collaborations that need to be open, and you need to bring someone else into the conversation, or you need to engage with the senior, and with that as well, there is always a delay that gets introduced, where we are seeing that 13% decrease in those engineers needing that peer assistance. That again, translates into being able to reduce that average handling time, because they are more self-sufficient, they have access to more information. From core capabilities perspective, well, a 20% reduction in missed routes. These links, that intelligent assignment piece that I mentioned. There is nothing worse than that missed route, meaning you are landing in the wrong team with the wrong area of expertise, asking you questions that you're like, why are you asking me that? I have a problem with something else. And also a 31% increase in this first call resolution. We are able to determine and gather all those insights up front, so that first call that our engineers are making already resolved in a resolution. And then last but certainly not the least, why there is no number in there? Because the size of that organization is unique. And I could put in here, a number of millions, but to put that, into the perspective of the largest organization in the world. We are seeing definitely, realizing millions and millions of operating efficiencies in the 2 fiscal years that we have now with Copilot in place. And we are also seeing an increase in customer satisfaction, which for us is our goal. That is our number one key performance indicator, and the numbers are showing that the customers are appreciating. They are seeing how the support experience is improving. This is all that I had for you today. I hope it was helpful. As I mentioned, this is a journey. We are by no means in the final destination. I promise to keep you posted, the things that are to come. And thank you so much for your time today.
E estamos mesmo na reta final, a seguir vamos ter o Innovation Tour, mas antes de nos despedirmos, referir que a Avanade, juntamente com a Microsoft, tem uma pequena oferta para todos aqueles que estiveram aqui presentes. Precisam apenas de, junto do vosso contacto, de quem vos fez o convite para estarem hoje, cederem o vosso local laboratório onde querem receber esse pequeno presente. E isto foi um dia cheio, uma manhã, aliás, cheia de inteligência artificial generativa e o valor que podemos retirar. A verdade é que percebemos que a IA está a entregar valor e, efetivamente, já se está a tornar um input económico, como o Andrés Ortola aqui referiu. No entanto, velocidade nem sempre é sinónimo de sucesso. A adoção da IA já passou de uma fase de curiosidade, mas há uma série de aspectos ainda a ter em conta durante toda esta jornada. A questão dos dados, a questão do processo e, acima de tudo, a questão da literacia dos utilizadores. Por isso mesmo, o treino dos colaboradores já é essencial e já está no centro dos modelos, no centro, ou já deve estar, ou deve ser algo a ter em conta no treino dos colaboradores, porque não podemos apenas redesenhar o trabalho, não nos podemos, aliás, limitar a usar essas ferramentas têm de ser utilizadas com as maiores precauções possíveis, e a questão da cibersegurança e o Shadow AI, como o Rico referiu aqui, são cada vez mais aspectos a ter em conta. E eu termino aqui da maneira que, e antes de passar ali a palavra ao Fábio, que também já está pronto para vos liderar até lá acima da Innovation Tour, eu termino como comecei com as sementes. Por isso, incentivo a cada um de vocês a plantar as sementes da mudança nas vossas organizações, que com a ajuda da Avanade e da Microsoft, para que possam colher os melhores frutos e os melhores resultados do vosso negócio. Vamos para a Innovation Tour, chama a Paulo Fábio de Pascal, será ele que nos vai liderar aqui a tour lá em cima no Lisboa, certo, Fábio?
Sim, obrigado. Muito rapidamente. Vamos ao Centro de Inovação. Aí vamos ver muitos casos de usos, demos, e quase todos são casos reais dos nossos clientes. O único que fazemos nosso framework de colaboração com nossos clientes, que todos os projetos que costumamos fazer de inovação, podemos mostrar, ensinar a nossos clientes e nossos parceiros e todos durante estes eventos, mas o único que costumamos fazer ocultar o logo dos nossos clientes e utilizamos uma marca que chama-se Ultiva, não é fictícia, como a Microsoft é ocultoso. Agora temos o Ultiva e podem pesquisar a marca no web, não existe. Basicamente é uma marca que utilizamos para ocultar o logo dos nossos clientes. Mas são casos reais de clientes com benefícios e podemos partilhar a história e a solução. E dito isso, podemos...
Uma vez mais, muito obrigada a todos e obrigada à Avanade e à Microsoft pela oportunidade. Obrigada.